Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Eternal Midnight. And for this special Wednesday episode, we're going to be talking about basically a hobby that I'm sure at some point we've all done, whether in a huge way or in a small way, action figure collecting. So I'm here with Chad. How are you, man?
What's going on, guys?
And I'm here with Erica. How are you, Erica?
I'm doing good. Hope all our listeners are doing good as well.
Yes, I hope everyone's doing great despite the pandemic going on. So today we're going to be talking about action figure collecting. So I just want to ask, let's start with Chad. What is your experience with action figure collecting?
So, growing up, like my big things was again, I'm a little older. Mine was like the original Power Rangers figures that came out. The original Megazords, the flip heads, the ones where like you could flip their heads so they were morphed or not morphed with their helmets on. And it's like that was just like my big thing. I mean, I also had like, Army Men and just like, like weird monster toys and stuff, but for me it was Power Rangers growing up. And by time Power Rangers had evolved past like the early stages, once they started getting to like Zeo and Turbo, I'd kind of grown out of collecting action figures at that age. And then now that I'm a little older, I don't do it as much as I would like to, but just financial reasons, my finances have to go to more important places now. I mean, I've still got a few of them. I've still got, some Pop Funkos, and
Funko Pop.
whatever they are. Pop Funkos, Funko Pops, whatever, who cares? The big head things with the big
pop-
eyes.
The Pops that Funko.
That's right. But the Godzilla franchise being my favorite like movie series that's out there, they do release some decently affordable Godzilla figures, so I've just got a few of those now.
That's nice. I mean, like, since I know you're a big fan of Godzilla, uh, I'm glad that you were able to collect something when you were that age.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, so let's go to Erica. Erica, I mean, like, I know you don't have a lot of experience, but you've played with toys when you were young. So tell us about that.
Well, I really liked playing with like dolls when I was a kid, so Barbies and there's a lot of different like stuffed animals and stuff, like there's Groovy Girls and Brats and all that, and I really loved it because you know first of all my gran, she did a lot of knitting, and so I have so many Barbie clothes that she would knit for me. I still have them in a box in my storage locker. I'll give to my kids one day. And I really liked playing with Barbies, when I was younger, because it was kind of like I could make my own little story. And I would spend hours in my bedroom. I had this Barbie corner with like a little furniture and all that stuff, and I would spend so much time in my room just playing with them and making up stories and stuff like that. And it's always a good memory of mine. And I have one action figure. I have a tiny like Funko Pop keychain of Ron Weasley. And then I collect seashells that I find in different places when I go traveling. So I had some cool ones there that you guys can see. And then I just have some little Harry Potter keychains. Not really anything else super big or important there, but yeah, I just I don't have a whole lot of money, but I have certain things that I keep because they mean something to me. So yeah.
Yeah, it's good. I'm glad that you have that because I mean, like for me, I think out of everyone here, I mean, like this is not like a who has more, but for me, like I have a lot of action figures myself. It started out when I was young. I was really into Transformers, and I mean, like, and then at that time, every kid was because like when
I forgot that. Yeah, I had Transformers and I had Beast Wars also when I was a kid.
right. So yeah, when I was young, I grew up with Transformers, and it was the coolest thing ever to me because it was like, oh my god, it's a robot that can turn into a car. I mean, like, who doesn't want that? I mean, when I was young, that it's a robot who can turn into a car. Who doesn't want that? I mean, like, two toys in one. I mean, like,
Wait, give me a sec here. The actual action figure turned into a car?
yeah.
Yeah.
You put it like inside out or something? Is that how it works?
No, they're like specific movements where you move the arms
Oh,
around
okay.
and you like
I
track.
didn't know that existed. That's really cool. I didn't know that's how they did it. That's actually super cool.
You move the arms around, you retract the feet, and it basically transforms into a car. And then like make it into a robot. It's like so they when I was young, I would like get this like transformer. Let's say Optimus Prime, which is the main character in the Transformers movies. I would get him, and I would transform him into a car. And there's a
No,
specific.
Optimus Prime became a truck.
Yeah, sorry, a truck. Sorry.
How dare you mix up cars and trucks, Santino?
There is a difference to Transformers
Yes,
fans.
I know there's a
Trust
difference.
me.
All right.
There's a big difference.
All right.
That was such a nerd moment. Oh my god.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, okay, I'm sorry. All right. So Optimus Prime would transform into a truck. So there would be like a specific way you do it. You have an instruction sheet, and then you would transform him into a truck. So like you'd have to turn the arms, you have to turn the legs, you have to stick the legs together and basically form a truck. And the thing is, when I was young, the thing was when I was young, I really had a hard time with doing that. Like, so my fingers.
How many did you break?
How many did I break? Too
How
many.
many did you break? Because you were like you'd like try to twist it and then boom, off it would snap, and it's like, yeah, that wasn't a joint. It was not supposed to snap at that spot. It's never going back.
That makes me think of like when I was a kid and my brother was being an ass. I had a few Barbie dolls where he ripped off the heads.
Oh.
Yeah, but I thought Barbie's heads went back on.
Yeah, but then their neck is like shortened and they look all weird, and it like they ruin. At least when I was a kid, and my brother would do that, and one time he literally he did that to one of my dolls, and he put the head on my bed pillow. So I went to my room and I found my Barbie dolls, and the head of it was on my pillow, and I was so mad. I went and like screamed at him.
Okay, I have a funny story regarding. Okay, are you done? Because like I have a funny story with that.
Yeah, that's done. It's all you.
All right, I have a funny story regarding an action figure of mine. So growing later in my years, like when I was 17, I started collecting more.
Later in your years.
Later in your years. Earlier in your years.
We got old man Santino right here.
You just made me feel about 100 years old.
I know. I feel like I should be dead at this point now.
I was 17 6 years ago.
Okay, sorry. When I got older, I started collecting like Marvel figures and Harry Potter figures, and then like there was this really one that was so hard to find. Like her for Harry, I was able to find it. I found first year Hermione, so Hermione from the Philosopher's Stone. Like it was really like one of the first action figures I ever got, like collectible. So I would have her pose on my shelf, right? And then the thing is, we all sleep in one room to conserve electricity. So I was sleeping in my mom's room with my brother also. So I went to sleep ahead because I was so tired from that day and from Christmas shopping because it was around Christmas time. So I went to sleep ahead. I was on my bed, and my brother, for some reason, thought it was a good idea to take Hermione from the shelf and pose it in front of my bed. So when I woke up, that's the first thing I would see. So like,
that's cute.
But like horror movie-esque, right? Like saying, and then so like when I woke up to get water, she was there. I was like, I didn't move her from her spot in my room. So
you got scared. Like, how did it get? Okay.
Yeah, how did it get there? And I was like, I woke up Storm. I was like, Storm, did you? My brother's name is Storm. Like, Storm, did you move my Hermione figure? And Storm said, no, I didn't. And he actually did. It was like,
So it's like a Annabelle
Yeah,
situation.
and I was like, oh my god, and then I couldn't sleep the whole night. I'm like all I could do was stare at her. It's like, what did she move? Did she actually move? And then like, and then the next day my brother was like, you didn't sleep last night, didn't you? It's like, yeah. I think that I have to return that figure. It's like, nah, you don't. I moved it last night as a joke.
Oh my god.
So yeah, that was one of the nights. Like, oh my god, so that is scary.
I'm surprised you didn't already assume that he did it. Like if that happened to me and I asked my brother, he would say no, and I'd be like, yeah, he did.
Yeah, I mean,
So
that's a
okay,
style.
off topic. This is just gonna be another small collection I have. It's not action figures per se, but just another like quick story kind of related to that one. I kind of collect like I have a small collection of like horror movie memorabilia. Like I have a Michael Myers mask, I have a Jason mask, I have a Scream mask, and I also have a Chucky doll.
Oh
And
my god.
Chucky
I had an
doll. Ugh.
I love my Chucky doll.
Ugh.
And an ex-girlfriend was spending the night. This was probably a decade ago or something. And as a joke, and this is probably what. No, that's not why she broke up with me. Never mind. One like she was staying the night. I got up and I got it out of the box because I kept it in the closet because she hated this thing. She was like, "Keep it in the box in your closet. I don't want to see it whenever I'm over here." So I got it out and I put it right in front of the TV that was at the end of the bed. I was woken up by her scream the next morning.
Oh.
I also have the other thing. I don't know if it's collectible, but it's something that's always meant a lot to me. Is I have a Disney Princess snow globe, like one of those like big glass ones.
Oh, that's
And
so
I got it
cute.
when my family went to Disney World when I was like 10, and it's something I've always kept, and it reminds me of being a kid. My grand though, she used to collect like owl figurines. She had
Owl?
owls,
Oh.
little figurines that were shaped like owls. And she had so many of them. It was insane. It was kind of odd, but my grand meant a lot to me, and so whenever I see an owl, I always think of her.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's amazing to hear. I mean, like when for my Transformers figures, I always relate to my mom because I'll never forget this. In 2009, the movie Transformers: Revenge of the Fallen came out, and I was like, that summer was amazing for me because it was Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince and Transformers: Revenge of the Fallen, like film franchises, two of the film franchises I was in at that point. And there was this big convention in this mall called Robinsons where all these limited edition Transformers figures were being sold, right? And and since Mother's Day just passed, I'm gonna give an amazing story about what my mom did. Well, so basically, she brought me into the convention and asked, "What do you want?" And then
Oh,
I said,
lucky.
I want the big baddie of the movie, The Fallen. And it was a limited edition figure because like only 50 were brought to the Philippines, right?
Oh.
So it was a limited edition. So I asked, can I please have it? And then my mom looked at the huge line waiting for it and says, okay, fine. Since you've been good and you've been really behaved recently, I'm gonna get you this figure. So she went into the line and fought all the moms for for my figure, and she got it. And then she got me the figure, and it was like I had it in my hands, and I was like, I couldn't stop thanking her because it's like, oh my god, this is like one of the most amazing figures ever. And like my mom says, my mom was like, okay, I got you that, but you don't get to open it until I see good grades from you, Santi. Like, yes, okay. So I had to make sure that all my grades were good for it to be open. But man, that was like one of the best defining moments of action figure collecting for me because she really went all out for me on that one. And since I grew up and started collecting on my own, my mom doesn't help me with that anymore because she says like you're your own man right now. That's your money. You have to save and spend for the figures you get. But I'll still support it. And she still goes with me to look at action figures, but she doesn't buy. But she looks and she gives her opinion like, oh, I like that one. But then So that's a nice way for me and my mom to bond, and that's a really sweet way in my opinion.
Yeah, that's cool. That's a cool memory.
Yeah, I mean
Yeah,
she always supports me on what I want, despite it being the most insane things. Like I
So what's like your favorite one that you've got? Like what was the one that was like the biggest search or the biggest amount of money saved, or what like someone comes in and they're like, I want you to show me your collection. What's the first one that you go to say this is the one that you're the most proud that you were able to get your hands on?
Oh wow, that's really hard because in my opinion, I mean like what the thing right now is like I collect all Hot Toys figures which are hard to find. Period. So like you have to save a lot for them. I mean, each of them have their own specific memory. So I'll just like
Were those the Spider Gwen ones you and I were looking at that one night a few like months ago?
the Spider Gwen one. The
There was a
Spider.
really cool Spider Gwen one that I showed you that was like $400 or something like that.
I don't have a Spider Gwen. I have
No, I was saying, is that what the Hot Toys are? The
no.
expensive
Those
ones.
are sideshow. Those are sideshow statues.
Okay.
Yeah, they're not Hot Toys. Hot Toys are like figures that are tall but not that tall to a point of a statue. Because a statue you can't move the statue, but for
Right.
a Hot Toys you can move it around, you can pose it, you can play with it.
Hmm.
Yeah. So off the top of my head, wow, I think if I had to really pick, I'd say the Harry Potter figures, right? The first three, because that's how I started it. Because okay, I'll just give a background. My Harry Potter figures, I started out with Hermione, then Ron, then Harry, all from
Hmm.
Philosopher's Stone, and I got them, and I saved up money for that. I really like I didn't eat. I didn't eat in school. I had to save allowance for it because they were like expensive. So I would save up for it. So yeah, I would save up for the Harry Potter figures. Those were the three I got, and then the first hot toy I ever got was my Mark 7 Iron Man Sub Zero, which was like a white version of the Mark 7 from the Avengers movie. I
Hmm.
got I got it at my first Comic Con. So I saved up.
Nice.
So I really went and had to pick from all these amazing figures that were lower price because in Comic Con there's like they knocked down the price for you. So like a figure that was like let's say 300 is now 150 because
Wow.
$300.
yeah I
Oh,
know.
that's nothing. If you think 300's expensive, just wait.
Yeah. I mean, like there are figures that cost like $1,000, but I don't engage in that. Yeah, $1,000. I don't engage in that because it's way too expensive.
There's
Even
like certain collectibles that just cost an insane amount of money. I remember I saw something about like a very rare edition of Harry Potter books with specific covers, and it was like I think there was something like there's only 1,000 sold worldwide, and
oh
someone
wow,
bought it for like I think it was like 10 grand.
Jeez.
I know,
10K.
for
Damn,
rare Harry Potter books.
damn, that's amazing. That's amazing. But I mean, like that 10K is expensive. I know that's like what in Filipino currency that's like what 2 million.
You can buy a
Wow.
used car for 10 grand.
I
Yeah.
was gonna say you could put a down payment on a house with 10 grand.
Yeah.
In certain places, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So like,
depends where you're living.
Yeah.
yeah, my Iron Man is what I got from my first Comic Con, and then ever since then I started saving up money. Like I would pre-order, and they would come at that time, and then money would be saved. So I have like Captain America and like, from Winter Soldier. I think, and then I have Ray and BB-8 from Star Wars Force Awakens, not Last
I
Jedi.
remember you showing me those. Those looked cool.
Yeah. Yeah, and then I think the most unique one I got was like not the most unique one, but like the one that I was like, wow, I have to get when it was released was John Wick. If you
Yep,
ever
yep.
seen the
Who's
John Wick.
John Wick?
John Wick's it's a
The
character
man.
Keanu Reeves.
Really?
Yeah, and it's an action series which I think you like, but it's a lot of violence and blood, and I'm not sure if you will like that.
She'll cry in the first movie.
Yeah,
I'll cry if there's like I cry very easily.
If
I'm
there's-
like tiny.
If there's an animal, if you're an animal lover, you might cry in John Wick. Yeah.
She's already ready to cry now.
I don't know.
I'm not with animals. Like I don't hate animals. I just don't feel that super strong connection to animals like I know other people do. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Sense. So yeah, John Wick is basically it's a movie where Keanu Reeves is a badass and he takes out all these assassins, and I'm not gonna spoil the movie in case you want to watch it, but it's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Probably the figure that I really had a hard time finding, the hardest one I had a hard time finding was my Scarlet Witch. Because that thing was so hard to find here, because that's the thing with the Philippines is you don't get a lot of Hot Toys collectibles. I mean, and when you do, it's always Iron Man or Star Wars. It's like figures like Scarlet Witch are so hard to find, and I finally found one for a good price, and it was used, and it was like for only $150, which is cheap for Hot Toy standards, right? So $150. So I finally found her, and it was so hard to find, and I made a trip. The buyer wanted to meet up in this place called Power Plat Mall, which was 3 hours away from my house.
Oh.
So I drove there just for that. Like that's the best thing about it, because the hunt, looking for that specific figure you want when you finally found it, it's so gratifying. Yeah. And the figure I'm most proud of for saving up is my Infinity War Thor.
Nice.
Yeah, the Infinity War Thor.
How much was that?
Hold on. I think it's like $250. Yeah, I had to save up a lot for that. Like I had to save. That was my birthday money, the money I saved before, and then like my mom gave me 2,000. Well, okay, 2,000 pesos is like $200 for. Well, it's like $50 for in Canada and US. So my mom gave me an extra $50 for my birthday. So I was able to save up for my Infinity War Thor, and when I finally got it, I was like, yes, I have it. So yeah, it's basically the hunt. The hunt's nice, and aside from action figures, I guess wands are a very huge part of my collection, where I would like go to Universal and I would look for wands. I have Ron's wand and I have Hermione's wand, and the thing what I do with that is I intertwine them so they're like together, because Ron and Hermione are like the best couple ever. So yeah,
They are the only. They're soulmates. They're everything.
That's the first Harry Potter.
You can tell I don't have a life when I think that they're everything.
Oh, you do? Because I also have a life, and I ship Ron and Hermione, so we both have lives, Erica.
But I don't have a life. That's what I'm saying. I'm kidding.
She's loudly, proudly, well, I don't have a life, so.
I have a life, but just not right now, because my life is on pause, and all of my jobs are in industries that can't do anything right now. So.
Yeah. So exactly, that's the point. Like when I collect wands, and my Ron and Hermione wands are entwined together, because they're soulmates.
How do you entwine them? Aren't they like solid?
No, I cross them together.
Oh, okay. It's like bendy or something.
No, I don't bend them. They're gonna break. That's not possible. Like
you don't want to pull a movie Harry moment with the Elder Wand.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I don't want to do that. And speaking of the Elder Wand, I do have it. That was the first one I ever bought. It's like, yeah, it's the most powerful one. I gotta have it. Like,
didn't you tell me Harry's is like the only one you don't have?
From the main cast, I mean, I don't have a lot. I don't have Siriuses. I don't have Snapes. I don't have Umbridges. I don't have. I mean, who wants Umbridges anyway? I don't have.
Why not?
Her wand is so weird. I mean, like, Google her wand. It's like this short stick that reminds me of a licorice bar. Like
it's a short, stubby wand. That's how Harry describes it in the book.
Yeah, and I guess the hardest one to find would be Lucius Malfoy's wand, because that comes with a metal snake at the end of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Yeah, but the one I have to look for is Harry's one. I don't have it yet. My brother bought Voldemort's one. I think the best I think one of my favorite ones I have is I think I've mentioned this to you before, but when I went to Japan, I was like, again, this is a trip my mom brought me on because graduation gift and all that from high school. I went into this room where Ollivander has his magic show, and like out of everyone, he picked someone for a wand to be chosen, and he picked me. It was like I
Nice.
sent the next wizard, and I was like, I screamed out loud, yes, yes, and they brought me in, and then they did the thing where, you know, you're given 3 wands, and the first one is bad, and the second one's also bad, and the third one, they give you this one, and it's like it's amazing, and the thing lights up around you with their hair and the blue light, and then the Ollivander, or fake Ollivander, says, Santino, this wand shows you, it belongs to you, and then
Hopefully,
that'll be $50. I'm like,
hopefully it doesn't have a twin that belongs to your mortal enemy, which is
yeah.
there, you know.
That'll be
The one that showed me was
$50.
weird though. It was the one that showed me was weird though. It was a weird squiggly one. I was like, okay, I don't mind as long as it's cool. And
I'm sorry, Santino, but
yeah, what?
Collecting wands is the one thing in the Harry Potter fandom that I mean, if you have like one that you wanted to get, fine, but like, I mean, I'm not gonna pay a bunch of money for a bunch of sticks, basically.
No. Yeah.
I can just go to
How
the park.
dare you? A bunch of sticks.
They're ones. No.
Wow, she just shit all over the fan community, dude.
Oh no. Okay. Sorry, I'm sorry.
A bunch of sticks.
I need to make an announcement after that. I apologize. They're not sticks. They're not sticks. And if people want to collect wands, that is totally fine. Collect as many wands as you want. I can't afford it, and I have nowhere to put them. And I mean, I'd probably, if I had to buy anyone's wand, it would be Ron, because I like Ron's wand.
Oh my god.
It's funny,
Anyway.
out of all of them, if I ever was to get one, I would probably want Lucius Malfoy's, though.
You like Lucius Malfoy's wand?
Yeah, it was awesome looking. It was like really classy. Yeah, I get the joke. I'm just not going to entertain your giggle.
Innuendo here, are you, Chad?
Oh, I get what she's going for. I just don't have to entertain it.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, moving on, because we're gonna end up talking about wands the entire time, and I don't. Yeah.
So, is there something like you would want to collect at some point, action figure wise, that you just haven't gotten around to yet, or what?
Yeah, there is actually. The die-cast Iron Man. Okay, so basically, this is something I want for a long time. Basically, what I've wanted for a long time is a die-cast Iron Man, which is basically Hot Toys after making plastic Iron Man figures, upgraded to making figures with actual metal in them.
Mm-hmm.
So it's heavier, but it's better looking. And the design I always wanted was the Iron Man Mark 51 from Infinity War, where it comes with weapons that blend into the armor. It's like his knives, his swords, and all that.
That's cool.
And then the Iron Man Mark 85, which comes with a custom-made Infinity Gauntlet. You know, where at the end of the end game where he snaps. Yeah, I want that one because that's pretty cool. So yeah,
Nice.
Those are the two I always wanted, and I plan on saving up for it, because the money for that is it's not cheap. I really have to save up for those, because those are not.
How much? Tell me.
How much? Wow.
How much money is it?
$450.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I know.
All I'm gonna say is then just never ever start collecting like actually good Godzilla figures, because I have seen some like that's the biggest problem I think I have with collecting Godzilla figures is like right now there's a line that's out that they sell at like Walmart in the US, and they're either hit or miss. A couple of them, like Mothra, Gigan, they actually look pretty cool. But then there's ones like Space Godzilla and Destroya and King Kong, and they look like total trash to the point where it's like, I wish they hadn't even made them because they're just so bad looking. But
Oh,
if you want the ones that are like actually good, in all honesty, you'd probably have an easier time getting them than I would because all the good ones are like made in Japan. And here in
yeah.
America, we just get either the junk or we get stuff where you have to spend like three, four, $500 upwards just to get one that looks like the monsters from the movies.
Yeah, that makes sense. Because I mean, like giant figures are harder to engineer. Like for example, the Hot Toys Hulkbuster, which is like Hulkbuster from Age of Ultron, it's $1,200.
What?
Yeah, I know, right? But it's like one of the biggest figures you've ever seen in your life. It is so huge. But yeah, it's not. It's so hard. It's so hard to get because one, it's hard to find, and number two, it's expensive as hell. It's really expensive.
Yeah, some of these are, it's amazing the price that some of these go for when it's like, I mean, it's the same thing almost like we said about the ones. I mean, which like that, they're pieces of wood, but it's the same with some of these figures. It's like they're just pieces of plastic and you're spending hundreds upon hundreds of dollars sometimes. And it's
Yeah.
like you've got to be committed sometimes. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's why in the group I'm part of, which is like collects a lot of figures. There are diehards which fill up the entire, they have a room full of these figures. And for me like when I have to save money, so I only pick the figures I really want and I want to get. And I'm not a completionist. I don't have to complete all the figures from this line. Nah, I don't have to do that. If there's something I really want, I'll save up for it and then I'll buy it. And I'll look for it. But I'm not die hard to the point where I have to and fill my entire room with all these figures. No, I'm not like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Erica, you were gonna say something?
Well, I was.
Oh, okay. I heard.
Sounded like it.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
I don't think so.
All right.
Mm.
If I did, I think I forgot it.
Already?
Already?
Well, I remember now.
Yeah, I was.
I remember now. It was I was gonna tell you, Santino. I was gonna say once you move out and are a real grown up, you'll realize that your money needs to go to other things sometimes.
Oh yeah. No. I already realized that for sure. When I hit 21, I'm gonna have to properly save, and that action figure hobby is gonna have to stop at some point.
I would start saving now because adulting is expensive.
Yeah, I know.
That's why it sucks because it's like, trust me, it's like I see some of those Godzilla figures that I really want. And it's just like, part of me sits and is like, I can afford it. But the other part of me is like I was telling you about earlier, that Biollante figure that I want. I'm like, I want it so bad because Godzilla vs. Biollante is like one of my favorite Godzilla movies. And she's one of my favorite monsters. But I'm just like, I cannot justify throwing down $500 plus for this thing that
Yeah.
all it's going to do is sit on my shelf. It'll
Yeah.
look awesome and I will be proud of it. But there are so many other things that $500 plus could go towards.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember, a few months ago I went to my first fan expo, which was amazing. I was just I was a kid in a candy store. It's like everything was so cool. It was so exciting.
Were you already a Harry Potter fan at that point?
No, well, yeah, I was. That's why I went. My aunt told me about it, and I was like, oh, awesome, because my aunt is a major Trekkie, so she's a huge Star Trek
Nice.
fan.
Oh, okay,
But
nice.
anyways, there's all these cool little figures, and I was like, I wanted to buy them and all that stuff, but I knew that I was not worth the money. But maybe one day when I have more money that I can, I'll buy some ones that are really, really worth it. So I'm really new to the Harry Potter fandom, so I'm slowly collecting little memorabilia stuff, but I don't have much.
Yeah, you have to go at your own pace. You have to realize that you cannot just spend all your money on one figure. You have to really focus on what you want a lot, And
Yeah.
and in the future you'll have to realize that like you might have to let go of that because adulting, as I said, is hard. But
It's
it's nice
expensive.
to, like, yeah, it's
Not
expensive
hard.
too.
It's hard too, but adulting is like money stuff everywhere, and it's like adulting is expensive.
Yeah. But like the figures I have, I'm keeping. I'm not selling it because
Well, yeah, there's nothing wrong. I'm not at all saying there's anything wrong with collecting things. I'm not saying that at all. Literally, I've joined in this podcast because I don't collect action figures, but I've joined this in to add in my opinion and add in some humor and stuff. So
Yeah, exactly.
nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with anyone that collects these things. It's interesting to me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, like me, like you've got your figures. I mean, you guys have seen them. I mean, my movie collection is enormous. I have over 700, and at this point, it's like I still collect those because it's like for me, it's like I can go to like a used store, and sometimes I can find a movie where it's like I've wanted it for a while, and I find it for like $1. So for me, it's like I had to choose what collection do I want to keep building, and for me, I chose the movies. So for you, I mean, there's no reason to ever really give it up.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
Like DVDs to be specific. He has this giant shelf from his wall.
No, it's a mix of both.
Oh, okay, I thought it was mainly mix of both of what?
Blu-rays and DVDs.
I thought okay. I was when I say DVDs.
No, it's a giant mix of everything.
Yeah, but it's not like digital. It's literal physical discs that you put into DVD.
Physical copies, yeah.
yeah, exactly. So I mean, like in figure collecting, I also like posing them. Like I like putting my figures into action poses and like seeing how well the articulation would like go around and basically like I mean like the point of Hot Toys is like the reason why it's so expensive is because it looks like the actor and actress. Like I mean like when you have like action figures that are not as expensive, they don't really look like the actor and actress. They look like plastic. But
That's why I have such an issue buying some of them because they're so ugly, and I'm just like, if they're not gonna look anything like how I want them to look, I don't even want it.
I would say that the character rather than that. Like with regards to Harry Potter, like I think most of the cast is great, but what I'm looking for memorabilia, I like ones that describe that show the character's description from the books.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. It makes sense. I think that's why if you look at Star Ace, the company that makes Harry Potter action figures, the Hermione and Ron and as adults they don't look like anything from the movies.
They don't look like Emma Watson or Rupert Grint.
Nah, they look like dolls, and I'm not paying a price. I mean, like the Philosopher's Stone ones, they look like Emma Watson and Rupert Grint, but not the older ones. Trust me. Yeah. So, closing thoughts, I guess. I mean, like, in the future, would you want to collect action figures? And like in the future, Erica, like, do you plan on doing something? I mean, like, not to my caliber, but not caliber's the wrong word. Not to my level of.
I know what you mean. I mean, I definitely don't have as much of a passion for them as you do, Santino. But if I'm out like at a fan expo or something like that, and I see one that I really like and I can afford it, I'll buy it. But I don't think I'd be one to go and drive 3 hours to buy a certain figure.
Yeah. That's right. I mean, like yeah, the obsession is for me is sort of not healthy at one point.
There's nothing wrong with it. Just with regards to spending your money, it's like this is a message to everyone. Make sure that you prioritize your money first for things that you need, and then save up for other things like that.
Yeah, exactly. How about you, Chad? Do you plan on collecting more like collectibles or action figures in the future?
There are some NECA figures that I actually want to get. NECA just seems to be so hit and miss though. Some I think look really cool. Some just look awful, and
What is
that's another
NECA?
hard. It's a company.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's something.
And like
What does it
some
make?
of their Godzilla, like they have a big line of Godzilla ones that they do, and some of them don't look that bad, but others just look like horrendous. And it takes someone who like knows the movie. It takes a Godzilla fan to like be able to look at them and be able to tell this one looks good, this one looks bad. But there's like NECA does so many. Like they got Pennywise, they got Jason, Freddy, Michael Myers, Chucky, and I've seen some of them before. And again, some of them look good and some of them just look awful. So it's like, and like I said earlier, the only ones I would really get, they got to look good. If they look bad, then I just don't want it, because then it's like I don't want this ugly thing sitting on my shelf.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
yeah, it's fun, but it is, and I still am. I mean, I'm older than you guys, but yeah, I mean, when I go to the store, I'll still walk past that aisle and I'll look at them and see if there's one that looks cool and catches my eye for a good price. It's fun. It's still really fun to do, I think.
I agree. I think it's fun to do.
Yeah.
But like again, you should save up for it because
Well, yeah, I mean, if you don't get your paycheck on a Friday and go blow the whole thing and then spend the next 5 days, ordering one item from the McDonald's dollar menu for every meal or something.
yeah,
But
exactly.
it's like, yeah, you save up and you look forward to buying it, and then when you got the extra cash laying around, go grab it. If it's a passion, I mean, that's the point. Spend money on what your passion is, but don't spend everything.
Yeah, I agree. So yeah, to close off, I'm glad that everyone was able to talk about their experiences, whether it be small or big with action figures, and I'm glad that everyone was able to talk about having have their opinions on buying it and selling it and looking for it. So I think that wraps it up for today's Wednesday episode. So I'm Santino signing off for this podcast. Chad,
I'm Chad. Thanks for listening in, guys.
Erica.
Thanks for listening. Hope you're all doing good and have a good rest of your day.
All right, guys. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time. Bye.